there's a high chance that the average viewer watching this video has normal genetics. Nothing is wrong with you. You just need to be consistent, train harder, advance your programming knowledge. But if it is somehow true that your genetics aren't the greatest, you notice that you're a little bit slower at gaining strength and size, don't stress. Because there are 3 things that you're probably not considering right now. There is some good news in all this. The first thing I'll say is that you still have full control of your diet and activity. What I mean is that you can eat healthy. No one's stopping you from doing that. You can have amazing blood work eating whole, non-refined foods. You can be doing cardio on a daily basis, training your balls off. Yeah, progression might be slow, but at least you're doing your best to remain fit and prevent chronic diseases that affect the majority of the population. So in that way, you can extend your lifespan. You can enjoy a greater quality of life and just be happy that internally you're doing what's correct and you're still living a very productive lifestyle. So there's that to consider. Second thing is that you can still gain a large amount of muscle mass. It might be a little bit slower, but if you put on 20 pounds of muscle to your frame over your entire training career, which is entirely possible, even if genetics are subpar, you're going to look better than when you first started. So what's the big deal? The real problem is that you keep comparing yourself to other men. That's the problem. It's not that you yourself have the worst genetics. It's that you look at some guy who's maybe wider than you, more muscular, better proportions. That's the issue. I say stop that, drop the ego, and just become the best version of you, even if that best version is nothing that amazing. Hey, I think you'd rather take 15-inch arms than 12-inch arms, right? I think it's better to have some wide lats with wide hips than just wide hips and narrow shoulders. Wouldn't you agree? So it's about improving upon what you already have. And even though you might not be the most aesthetic guy of all time, maybe there's gonna be people who work a lot less harder than you, but they're stronger, they're bigger, they look better. You can't get mad about that because you have to work with what's within your control. Now, you can be some juice head and become super insecure, develop all kinds of body dysmorphia, just start injecting left and right. Yeah, you'll overcome your bad genetics through that. But let me tell you, you're going to end up with all kinds of problems. Point number 1, you can scrap that. And you're going to be living a life of constantly seeking validation from other people and just never being really happy with yourself. These guys who constantly have to get bigger and bigger, injecting more and more, are oftentimes the most insecure. So recognize that you can surpass the novice phase. You can put on a decent amount of muscle and you're still going to be better off than your initial starting point while being healthy at the same time. And when you also put in perspective that most people who watch YouTube Fitness are still novices, that means that you're going to be ahead of the average person, even if their genetics are better than yours. The majority of lifters stay novices for life because they don't have the proper training knowledge. Well, you're watching my videos. You're probably subscribed to other people too. You're in tune with the science. And guess what? You're compensating in that way, which is a great thing. That sets you apart. You can override certain genetic elements through learning more about proper strength training, muscle building, etc. So you have the knowledge base and the work ethic because that's all you got pretty much, right? And it's that exact handicap, quote unquote, that'll allow you to still develop an amazing physique. Definitely past the novice stage, but I would also extend this by saying that you can probably become an advanced lifter. It might take you much longer than other people, but it's doable, especially when you consider the fact that you can't be bad at everything. I highly doubt that. Like, if you're a guy who has extremely long arms, you notice that the bench press just stalls constantly, guess what? You might be better off for the deadlift. That might be your only lift that's truly impressive. Perhaps you're going to have a terrible squat, terrible bench. Everything is trash or just subpar proportionally, right? But your deadlift is out of this world. Isn't that amazing? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's always a blessing in disguise. No matter what circumstances you're experiencing in your life, there's a negative and a positive that accompanies it. And in this case, you're forced to learn more about training. You're forced to train harder. And you got to focus on your strengths, which you do have. I don't buy for a second that there's nothing you're good at. And like I said, even if that were true, which it's so freaking unlikely, guys, you still have your health, you still got your nutrition. So really, there's nothing to be mad about. Be the best version of you, train to the hardest of your abilities, learn as much as you can, and stop comparing yourself to other men. You do this, and I promise that you're going to be extremely happy with not only your physique, you'll be proud of what you built, but you'll also conquer some of those insecurities. And it will happen eventually, I'm telling you right now. So that would be my message to those who believe they have bad genetics, which I don't think you do. But if it were true, hey, there's always benefits.